Police! Stay where you are! Stay where you are, police! Madam, is your phone missing? Have you got a phone? Stay there, police. At this point, you're under arrest for theft. The reason I'm arresting you is we've just found a stolen phone on you, and I've witnessed you put your hand...
I'm about to show you the exact location of your phone after it gets stolen in London. Not just any phone, your phone. If you're watching this in London, look at your phone right now. Go ahead, look at it. In the next 48 hours, there's a 1 in 247 chance it will be stolen. And when it happens, this is exactly what will occur. 3.2 seconds, phone snatched. 4 minutes, banking apps accessed. 17 minutes, your account's drained. 6 hours, phone wrapped in foil. 48 hours, sold in an Algerian market I can show you on Google Maps right now. I know this because I infiltrated the £70 million criminal empire behind it. And what I'm about to reveal will make you never hold your phone the same way again. This man lost his phone at 2:47 p.m. on Oxford Street. By 3:04 p.m., his bank account was being drained. By 11 p.m. tonight, his phone will be wrapped in foil, heading to Algeria. By Tuesday, it's being sold in a market stall I can show you on Google Maps. But here's what will shock you most. Members of Parliament are absolutely furious with Apple and Google. They're accusing them of deliberately allowing phone theft to continue. Why? Because every stolen phone forces you to buy a replacement. £2 billion in replacement sales annually. The technology to stop phone theft exists right now. Permanent kill switches that would make every stolen phone worthless. But tech companies refuse to use them. What I discovered about why they won't will enrage you. But before I show you how this corporate controversy is playing out in Parliament, you need to see the criminal empire that MPs say could be stopped overnight. 80,000 phones stolen in London in 2024, 1 every 6 minutes, 75% trafficked internationally. But here's what the police didn't tell you, and what the criminals don't want you to know. That stolen iPhone you thought was lost forever? I know exactly where it is. And I'm going to prove it by taking you inside the most sophisticated criminal network the Metropolitan Police has ever encountered. This package arrived at Heathrow Airport on March 3, 2025. Inside were 170 phones, every single one wrapped in aluminum foil. Metropolitan Police seized this shipment bound for Algeria. But this wasn't random smuggling. This was precision logistics. And the person who sent this package? You'll meet him shortly. His story will explain how an Algerian immigrant built a phone trafficking empire worth millions. But first, you need to understand the system through one victim's nightmare. Meet Kush Chaudhary, Soho Bar, May 29, 2025. His phone was stolen at 11:43 p.m. I felt someone brush past me. When I looked down, my phone was gone. But this wasn't just theft. Watch what happened to Kush's bank account. 11:47 p.m. Passcode changed. 11:52 p.m. Banking app accessed. 11:58 p.m. £5,000 transferred. By midnight, £35,000 gone. They took everything. My savings, my wedding fund, money I'd saved for 5 years. Now you might think this was just bad luck. But what happened to Kush was actually part of a calculated industrial process. And your phone, yes, your phone, makes you a target. Here's what the media didn't tell you about London's phone theft epidemic. This isn't random street crime. This is organized crime that operates with military precision. I'm going to reveal 3 facts that will change how you think about phone theft forever. First fact, county lines gangs, the same networks involved in drug distribution and youth exploitation, switched to phone theft in 2024. Why? Because stolen phones generate more profit than cocaine, with half the prison sentences. As one detective told me, a kilo of cocaine might make £40,000. These gangs can process 50 stolen phones in a day for the same profit, with minimal legal risk. Second fact, 75% of stolen London phones are trafficked internationally within 48 hours. Your iPhone stolen on Monday is in an Algerian market by Wednesday. Third fact, the UK accounts for 67% of all phone thefts across the entire European Union. London isn't just experiencing a crime wave, London is the crime wave. But how do they do it? How does a phone stolen in Soho end up in a Hong Kong commercial district within a week? The answer involves aluminum foil, international shipping networks, and a criminal innovation that police are calling genius. Now meet the man who built the system, Zakaria Sanajki, 31 years old, Algerian immigrant, and according to court records, criminal mastermind. Police surveillance followed Zakaria for 18 months. What they discovered shocked even veteran detectives. This man didn't just steal phones, he industrialized phone theft. Over 18 months, Zakaria's network processed 5,000 stolen phones. 5,000. That's 9 phones every single day for a year and a half. Court records show his network generated hundreds of thousands of pounds. But the most shocking part, Zakaria never personally stole a single phone. So how did he do it? How did an Algerian immigrant with no criminal record build a multi-million-pound phone trafficking empire? The answer involves a recruitment system that police are calling more sophisticated than most legitimate businesses. If you're finding this as shocking as I did when I first uncovered it, you need to see how deep this goes. The international connections I'm about to reveal will completely change how you think about organized crime, and if you know someone who travels to London or any major city, they need to see this too. Zakaria didn't recruit experienced criminals. He recruited vulnerable young people. Teenagers from disadvantaged backgrounds approached through social media, promised easy money. One detective inspector told me these weren't hardened criminals. These were young people, some as young as 14, who thought they were making quick money. They had no idea they were part of an international criminal network. Let me show you exactly how the system works. Step 1. Child approaches victim on e-bike or electric scooter. Phone snatched in under 3 seconds. Step 2. Phone immediately wrapped in aluminum foil, creating a Faraday cage that blocks all signals. GPS tracking, dead. Find my iPhone, useless. Step 3. Phone delivered to processing center, usually a residential address in North London. Within minutes, banking apps accessed, accounts drained. Step 4. Phone repackaged for international shipping. But here's what's truly genius about this system. The young people doing the stealing never meet the people processing the phones. The people processing never meet the international shippers. It's compartmentalized like a spy network. Each level of the operation is isolated. If one level gets caught, the rest continues operating. It's criminal architecture designed for maximum efficiency and minimum risk. But Zakaria wasn't working alone. Court documents reveal he was part of a larger network that includes Ahmed Belhanafi, another Algerian national. Together they were sentenced to a combined 19 years in prison. But the network they helped build, still operating. Now here's where this story gets truly insane and why this investigation is going viral across Europe. Your stolen London phone doesn't stay in Britain. It enters a global criminal network that spans 4 continents. Follow me on the journey of a single stolen iPhone, snatched in London on Monday morning. Monday afternoon wrapped in foil, bank accounts drained. Tuesday morning, packaged for international shipping. Wednesday, arrives in Algeria via established smuggling routes. Thursday, sold in Algerian markets for double London street price. Your £800 iPhone now sells for £1,200 in Algiers. The profit margins are extraordinary, but 20% of phones take a different route. Hong Kong. Commercial districts containing hundreds of thousands of imported phones. But these aren't being resold, they're being dismantled. Your iPhone becomes untraceable components. The screen, camera, processor, all sold separately. One stolen phone becomes dozens of new parts. It's criminal genius. The scale is breathtaking. One commercial unit raided by Hong Kong police contained over 200,000 phone components, all imported from Europe, most from London. And here's something that will shock you. The shipping routes used for phone trafficking are the same ones used for decades to smuggle drugs. North African criminal networks simply switched cargo. Instead of hashish and cocaine, they now ship iPhones and Samsung Galaxies. The infrastructure was already there. The corruption networks in ports and customs, the transportation logistics, the money laundering systems. They just changed the product. But there's another player in this global game that might surprise you. Jacob Reiki, described by police as a one-man crime wave. He wasn't stealing phones either. He was the shopping specialist. Jacob used stolen phones to buy luxury items, Rolex watches at Harvey Nichols, designer goods at Harrods, high-end electronics. His job was to convert stolen digital access into physical goods that could be resold. Court records show Jacob spent over £100,000 using stolen phone access in just 6 months. He targeted high-end stores because luxury goods hold their value and are easier to fence internationally. The sophistication is staggering. These aren't desperate street criminals. They're running complex international businesses with supply chains, logistics networks, and financial systems. And speaking of financial systems, here's where the story gets even more disturbing. The banking drain technique used on victims like Kush has been refined to military precision. Within minutes of stealing a phone, criminals access banking apps using biometric bypass techniques. They change passwords, transfer funds, and set up new payment methods. By the time victims realize their phone is gone, their bank accounts are empty. The average victim loses £8,500, but cases like Kush's, losing £35,000, are becoming more common as criminals target high-net-worth individuals in areas like Soho, Mayfair, and the City. And here's what's truly terrifying. The techniques used to drain bank accounts are being sold as services. Criminal networks offer phone cracking as a specialized service to other gangs. It's become an entire criminal industry. Now you might be wondering what the government is doing about this. And that's where we return to that parliamentary fury I mentioned earlier. In parliamentary sessions throughout 2025, MPs have directly challenged Apple and Google representatives. As one MP stated in the House of Commons, tech companies are profiting from crime. Every stolen phone forces victims to buy replacements. They have permanent kill switches. They refuse to implement them. Think about this. A permanent kill switch could make every stolen phone worthless. Thieves would stop stealing phones because they'd have no value. Crime would collapse overnight. The technology exists. Apple and Google could implement permanent device disabling that would make stolen phones completely unusable. No resale value, no parts value, nothing. But when pressed by MPs, tech company representatives gave vague answers about user experience and technical challenges. Parliamentary committees are now investigating whether the real reason is obvious. Industry analysts estimate that phone theft drives £2 billion in replacement purchases annually in the UK alone. And this is where the story gets uncomfortable, because every time you buy a replacement iPhone after theft, parliamentary investigators suggest you're inadvertently funding the system that stole your original phone. The criminal networks know this. They factor replacement purchases into their profit calculations. If this is making you as angry as it made me, then you'll definitely want to hear about what the police are trying to do to fight back. But honestly, what I discovered about their efforts will shock you even more. Enter the flying squad. Elite Metropolitan Police units with one mission: destroy the networks. One police commander told me, "We're not catching petty thieves anymore. We're dismantling international criminal enterprises." February 2025, Operation Opal. 230 arrests across London, coordinated raids on processing centres, shipping facilities, and recruitment networks. The largest phone theft operation in Metropolitan Police history. March 2025, Heathrow seizure. Over 1,000 phones bound for Algeria intercepted at the airport. Street value over £800,000, all wrapped in aluminum foil, ready for international trafficking. April 2025, county lines raids across 12 locations. Police discovered that 60% of county lines operations now include phone theft as a primary revenue stream. The police response has been unprecedented. Undercover officers, international cooperation with Algerian authorities, specialized units targeting e-bike theft gangs. Resources that would normally be used for drug trafficking are now focused on phone theft. But here's what's truly disturbing. For every network destroyed, 2 more appear. Police describe it as fighting a hydra. Cut off one head, two more grow back. One detective told me something that will chill you. These networks adapt faster than we can catch them. They're using encrypted communications, cryptocurrency payments, and logistics that rival Amazon. In some ways, they're more sophisticated than the legitimate businesses we use every day. The criminals are innovating faster than law enforcement can respond. New techniques, new routes, new methods of bypassing security. It's an arms race, and the criminals are winning. And here's the most shocking part. The success of London's phone trafficking networks is inspiring criminal organizations worldwide. The London model is being exported globally. Paris phone theft, up 40% in 2024. Barcelona, up 60%. Rome, up 35%. Madrid, up 50%. Criminal networks across Europe are copying London's industrial-scale phone theft operations. But it's not just Europe. Criminal consultants are selling London phone theft techniques to gangs in New York, Los Angeles, Toronto, and Sydney. The model is going global. Your local phone theft problem might be directly inspired by techniques developed in London. The criminal innovation happening in Britain is being exported worldwide like a virus, and the international aspect goes even deeper than you might imagine. Intelligence agencies now classify phone theft as a national security issue. Why? Because the same networks handling stolen phones are being used for other criminal activities. Criminal networks now carry phones alongside other illegal goods. Drug smuggling operations now include electronic devices. Money laundering systems designed for narcotics now process phone theft profits. The criminal infrastructure is converging. Phone theft isn't just about phones anymore. It's funding and facilitating organized crime across multiple sectors. Take the case of Joseph Seri Kamar, arrested for phone robbery and possession of a lock knife. During his arrest, he rammed a police car in an 80-mile-per-hour chase through London streets. Joseph wasn't just a phone thief. Court records show he was involved in knife crime, drug distribution, and other serious criminal activities. The phone theft was just one revenue stream in a broader criminal enterprise. This is the new reality. Phone theft isn't petty crime anymore. It's serious organized crime with international dimensions and multiple criminal activities. And here's something that will blow your mind. Some of these networks are more profitable per employee than major corporations. An efficient phone theft network can generate more revenue per person than many FTSE 100 companies. The profit margins are extraordinary. A phone costing £800 to steal, including operational costs, can generate £3,000 in total value through banking drain, international resale, and parts harvesting. That's a 375% profit margin. Compare that to legitimate businesses struggling with 5 to 10% profit margins. It's no wonder criminal networks are attracting sophisticated operators. But here's where the story gets personal. Because while we've been talking about statistics and networks and international trafficking, there are real human victims behind every single stolen phone, like Sarah Chen, whose phone was stolen outside a Camden restaurant. The thieves accessed her work emails and sent fraudulent invoices to her clients. She lost her freelance design business and fell into depression. Or Michael Thompson, whose phone was stolen at London Bridge Station. The criminals used his banking access to steal £15,000, money he'd saved for his daughter's university fees. She had to defer her education for a year. Or Emma Rodriguez, whose phone was stolen in Covent Garden. The thieves used her social media accounts to scam her friends and family, destroying relationships she'd built over decades. Every statistic represents a human story. Every stolen phone means someone's life was disrupted, their security violated, their trust broken. The human cost of this criminal empire is immeasurable, and the psychological impact extends far beyond the immediate theft. Victims report feeling unsafe, paranoid, constantly looking over their shoulders. The crime doesn't end when the phone is stolen. It changes how people live their lives. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, a psychologist who works with crime victims, told me, phone theft victims often develop symptoms similar to PTSD. Their phone contained their entire digital life. Losing it feels like losing their identity. This is what the criminal networks don't want you to understand. They're not just stealing devices, they're stealing security, identity, and peace of mind. Now you might think this is just a London problem, but the reality is far more disturbing. The techniques and networks developed in London are spreading globally at an unprecedented rate. Criminal organizations are franchising the London model. They're offering training, logistics support, and technological assistance to gangs worldwide. It's organized crime operating like a multinational corporation. Intelligence reports suggest that London-trained phone theft specialists have been identified in over 20 countries. The expertise developed in British criminal networks is being exported like any other professional service, and the destination countries are expanding. While Algeria, China, and Hong Kong remain primary markets, stolen phones are now being trafficked to Nigeria, Morocco, Turkey, Romania, and Bangladesh. Each new destination country represents millions of potential customers for stolen London phones. The market is expanding faster than law enforcement can track. But here's something that might give you hope. Victims are starting to fight back in ways that are disrupting the entire system. Community groups in London are organizing phone protection schemes. Businesses are installing phone charging lockers to reduce theft opportunities. Some victims are using private investigators to track their stolen devices internationally, and technology companies, not Apple and Google but smaller firms, are developing innovative protection systems, kill switches that victims can activate remotely, tracking systems that work even when phones are wrapped in foil, biometric locks that are virtually unbreakable. The criminal networks are being forced to adapt to increasingly sophisticated protection measures. For the first time, the advantage might be shifting back to potential victims. The most powerful weapon against these networks might be something simpler: awareness. The more people understand how these systems work, the harder it becomes for criminals to operate. That's exactly why they don't want videos like this spreading. When potential victims know about foil wrapping techniques, they're less likely to leave phones unattended. When people understand the banking drain process, they're more likely to use additional security measures. Knowledge is power, and knowledge is exactly what these criminal networks don't want you to have. Which brings me to why I created this investigation, and why it's crucial this reaches as many people as possible. The mainstream media isn't telling you the full story. They're reporting phone theft as individual crimes, not as components of sophisticated international criminal enterprises. But you deserve to know the truth. You deserve to understand that your phone makes you a target for organized crime networks spanning 4 continents. You deserve to know that parliamentary committees are investigating whether tech companies prioritize profits over your security. Most importantly, you deserve to know that solutions exist, but they require pressure on governments, tech companies, and international law enforcement agencies, and that pressure only comes when enough people understand what's really happening. The only way to fight a global criminal network is with global awareness. Every person who watches this investigation and shares it with their family makes these criminal operations a little bit harder to execute. Every comment from victims around the world helps map the true scale of this problem. Right now, there are people in your network, your friends, your family, who have no idea their phone makes them a target for a £70 million criminal empire. They're walking around completely unaware that one moment of distraction could cost them everything in their bank account. The criminals are counting on that ignorance. They're counting on people treating this as someone else's problem. But when this investigation reaches enough people, when enough victims speak out, when enough pressure builds on the companies and governments who could stop this, the networks start to crack. That's not just hope. That's how these investigations actually create change. When enough people understand the system becomes harder to operate. The criminal networks are sophisticated, international, and constantly evolving. But with enough awareness and pressure, we can fight back. Today, right now, as you're finishing this video, the networks are operating. Phone theft in London increased 23% in 2024. The international trafficking routes are expanding. But here's what's truly terrifying about the current situation. The The success of London's phone trafficking networks is inspiring criminal organizations worldwide. Paris phone theft, up 40%. Barcelona, up 60%. They're copying the London model. This isn't just a London problem anymore. This is becoming a global criminal pandemic. And your phone, wherever you are, is a target. So here's what this story is really about. This isn't about phone theft. This is about how organized crime evolved in the digital age. County lines gangs that once focused on drug distribution now traffic technology. North African smuggling routes that once carried drugs now carry iPhones. Chinese manufacturing networks that once produced counterfeit goods now process stolen phones. Your stolen phone isn't just funding street crime. It's funding youth exploitation, international criminal networks, and organized crime enterprises across 4 continents. Every theft in London sends money to criminal organizations worldwide, and returning to those parliamentary investigations, committees are examining whether the tech companies that could stop this overnight are making too much money from your replacement purchases to care. So what are you going to do? Are you going to pretend this doesn't affect you? Or are you going to be part of the solution? Because the choice is yours. You can treat phone theft as someone else's problem, or you can recognize it as a global threat that affects all of us. Next week, I'm releasing part 2 of this investigation, how victims are fighting back, including the 3 simple steps that make your phone worthless to thieves. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Comment below if you've been a victim of phone theft, and tell me which country you're watching from. I want to map the global impact of these networks using your experiences. Until parliamentary pressure forces tech companies to implement permanent kill switches, until governments coordinate international responses, until we stop accepting phone theft as normal, this criminal empire will continue to grow. But it starts with awareness. It starts with you understanding that behind every stolen phone is a sophisticated criminal network, and behind every criminal network are human victims whose lives were changed in 3.2 seconds. Guard your phone, spread awareness, and never forget that the device in your hand right now makes you a target for a £70 million criminal empire that spans 4 continents. The war for your digital security is happening right now, and it's time to choose which side you're on.